Hello everyone, I'm Mehak Med, member of Mulya Foundation, and I'm glad I've got this opportunity to conduct this video series with our IMO scholars. Today we have Shraddha present with us, and I would like her to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, this is Shraddha Kadam. I'm from Mumbai and currently I'm working with a technology firm in Pune, and I have recently graduated from VNIT Nagpur as a civil engineer.
Great. Shraddha, we're glad to have you here. So
Thank
could
you.
you just give us a brief about your topic? In spite of surplus production, why is hunger strike rising?
Yeah, so particularly in India, if we say, like as the topic suggests, it's all about hunger. So we call ourselves as a self-sufficient nation. And by far we are a self-sufficient nation, but ironically, if we look at the stats that every 2 in 10 people in this 1.3 billion population nation, every 2 in 10 people sleep hungry every day. And it's not a small number, as you can imagine the huge amount of mass, the way we are wasting our products, like way we are wasting our food, not just in through our leftovers, but also through the supply chains and the transit as well as the storage levels. It is causing a huge stress in the lower levels, which is the consumer level, where the needy is not getting the food. Even amid this crisis, we can see that many people who were having dying need, they were not getting food, even if we are having surplus foods stored in our storages, but those products were not being able to reach them. So this is something which is stressing, as well as in the, if you can if you know, the global hunger index, which was released recently. So over there we were ranking 107 among 117 qualifying countries globally. So the alarming level is too high for India to stress upon this issue.
Yeah, correct. It's actually an alarming number out of the like being above 100 countries out of 117 is really very alarming. So, Shraddha, could you just tell us why did you choose this topic? So now we know what your topic is. We would just want to know a personal experience as in why did you choose this topic?
Personally, see, coming from a city background, so currently, recently, what I went through, like I was being a part of few conferences as well as a social enterprise network, which is named as Jagriti. So over there, I met many people, and also we had visits in the rural parts. Over there, I recently visited Akshay Patra Foundation, and the motive for which they work really motivated me to touch upon this topic and read more about it. So it's like, obviously, as I said, the stats which are so high, which obviously, inspired me to read more and to find some solutions about it. Like, not if the particular solutions, why is it happening? Because it is really ironical. So that was something which inspired me to read more about this topic. And Akshay
Uh,
Patra Foundation, if I could stress more upon it, they are the Asia's largest food provider, or the midday meals provider, and they have Asia's largest mess around in their headquarters. And the motive of theirs is like their aim is to, to curb the entire hunger. They themselves say that they should be closed down by the end of 2050, so that there should not be a need for someone to provide free meals, so that everyone should be self-efficient, self-sufficient for the basic need as food is concerned.
it's actually a huge statement to say that I hope my foundation does.
Exactly.
It
Exactly. It's
stops by
it's great
20.
in itself.
Yeah, correct. It's like giving back to your society.
That's true.
The personal gains or losses are not very much when a society
Much
is
important.
flourishing and blooming. So I would now like to ask you, at what levels do you think the food waste happens?
So, if you see, like the core problem which I found is the storage as well as the transit issue, that is the supply chain. Regarding the storage, if I could say, India is having just half of the available, what is available storage, whatever is available to us. Suppose we need 100, we just have 50 of it. Like if we need to store, if we are producing 100 million tons of crop, we can store only 50 million tons. From the last 3 years, India is producing 230 million tons of its produce, which is way more what is required by the nation. We are unable to redirect it rightly. We export it, but the entire produce is not being utilized. The only reason why is once the farmer has harvested the produce, as we know, 85% of our farmers are small scale farmers. They are not the large ones, so that they could have go downs or the storage facilities. They don't have that facilities. So you can just imagine a farmer is harvesting his crops. He can store very, very limited amount of crop in any particular house, or he usually stores it in open. And then once the rain occurs, the entire produce get rots, and then it's wasted. So just imagine, you can imagine it in this way as well. Like we know 15% of our GDP is being contributed by the agriculture sector. And the amount of people, it's 60% of our population which is engaged in this particular section. You can imagine the gap, you can imagine the human cost, the loss of human cost per capita which is involved in this. And the food waste, if you say, it's in two kinds. That is, one is the food loss which occurs, as I said, post harvest. That is, they are not getting enough of storage facilities, they are not getting proper transit to the farmer to consumer levels, so they are not getting proper transit. That is the way it is loss, that is categorized as food loss. And the other is what we people like you and me, what we leave in our plates, that is leftovers. So that is food waste. So even the UN SDGs are focusing on to halve this per capita loss on all the consumers as well as the retail levels, as well as the pre-harvest as well as the post-harvest losses which are occurring, both the food loss as well as the food waste.
Yeah, correct. I think even as at individual levels we aim to do our best and not waste food, we can definitely make a change uh, at
Definitely.
large. So
Definitely.
now I will just ask you to briefly explain what you mentioned about malnourishment in your article.
So yeah, so like if we take this topic from our history, like since 1960s, so many of us would be aware about green revolution. So the green revolution concept started due to malnutrition. We used to have a lot, like tremendous hunger in our country. Right now, it still prevails, but we can't see that. Over then, we started green revolution. It was a successful venture, but it came with its own consequences. It flourished in the state of Punjab and Haryana. We had tremendous amount of success over there, but it was not the same case with all other nations, with all other states. And the stressing area, like the stressing issue which was arised due to the green revolution was, now there was a nutritious hunger, and which is now in today's date we call as malnutrition. Now the nutritious hunger arises due to various reasons again. The first thing which I could tell you is, the nutrition which is very much important for their brain development and for the child. At like below the age of 5, we can see many people in India who are suffering from chronic as well as severe malnutrition, anemia. So the nutrition is present in most of the perishable foods, not necessarily, but majority of the nutritious food are perishable.
Mm.
Now for these perishable foods, there is a shortage of storage. Once there is a shortage of storage, the food is getting rot. It is getting rot, which leads to loss of the micronutrients present in it, and it leads to lack of the nutritious value in that. So eventually, what we find right now is the nutritious hunger. And as the green revolution leads back to the PDS and the FCI system, the Food Corporation of India, so we have certain MSPs for certain particular crops. Now over there, we have 20 plus crops under MSPs, but now there are only 1/3 of the crops which are actually procured by the government, by the Food Corporation of India. Since past 3 years, the Food Corporation of India is already in surplus. That is the problem of shortage. It's already in surplus, so it doesn't procure much. Now, if the FCI is not procuring, the farmers do not have the access. Right now, the farms bill, which is already in talks, which is a bill right now, so it is having a provision to have a direct trade. Now that's a different issue. It's under debatable consequences, that it could be good for farmers or it could be bad. So we need to wait for that. But then, as far as malnutrition is concerned, this is the nutritious hunger which has caused due to, now we are just focusing on the crops which can give higher yields, higher produce. We are using GM crops, we are using hybrid, we are using pesticides to increase the production. So in that way, we increase the production. The green revolution was successful in its own way. But then the other cause, the other effect which it came up with, this was malnutrition. Now we term it as nutritious hunger. You can't see people with, having millets or bajra right now. We don't talk these words. We can just see rice, wheat.
Mm.
These are the only crops which are produced in majority by all the farmers, the sugarcane, etc. But we can't see, millets are one of the most nutritious food, like, but now it's like, it's just vanished right now. So this
Yeah,
is what is
correct.
nutritious hunger now.
Correct. So, like millets, for example, we've just read about them in our books, but never had it, or
True.
we don't even know what they actually are.
Yeah,
So,
rarely in Kerala we can find.
yeah, that's like very rare. Out of 29
Very
states
rare.
that we have, in one
True.
state, if we get it correct. So, Shraddha, lastly, I would like to ask you if you suggest any government schemes or something that the government has done in past which has helped improved this hunger problem, or any schemes that you would suggest the government should take up in the future to eradicate this issue.
So as far as now, the government is always continuously trying to eradicate this issue. Now, this issue is not just one particular issue. It needs to have an holistic approach. For example, you can say, government provides subsidized food, but now that is a temporary solution. For how long will you provide subsidized food? The second is, we can produce employment security. So Manrega, such schemes are being availed, but now the implementation is the another part. So we can't have a control on it, but it is on the individual's level. We need to monitor the implementation. The third is the sanitation part. So it's all the a holistic approach to be taken for the food industry, and the issue which is at a large, not just farmers issue, but it is spread all across everyone, each person, like, be it in an IT firm, be it in any other profession, be it any individual living in this country, food is related. So obviously it comes as an holistic approach. Now for me, what I could suggest is, we can have, we have some technologies, so we can leverage those. For example, for the supply chain, we can have use for data analytics. We can have the shortest route tracked. Also the crops, after, like now, as I said, that we are just focusing on the profit making, the higher yield crops, and due to that we are just ignoring the biodiversity and ignoring the nutritious value of that particular food, or the crops which are being vanished right now. So we can have a, we can't micromanage, but we can have some kind of a cropping pattern which would be in sync with what the demand is. Whatever we are producing right now, we are overproducing it. So we are in a stressing need for better storage facilities. We are in a stressing need of better and advanced packaging solutions, so that the perishable foods are sustained and they can be used for longer run. Because the point is, we are facing the issue, it's the hunger is not because our farmers are not producing enough food, just because the food is not managed properly. They are producing, but we are not able to manage. So technology can be a good solution. in all the supply chain as well as the packaging and the storage units. This is what I can tell as of now.
Exactly. Food is such an important thing, and this issue also is quite important. And I think at every level, information and uh, attention should be paid, as in how should we aim for a better future. Also, lastly, I would like to thank you, Shraddha, for this insightful video. I'm pretty sure everyone who saw this video has gained some insights in the topic that you've shared with us. So, thank you so much. Thank you from Mulya Foundation as well.
Thank you, Mahek. It was wonderful talking to you.